Hello, everyone. My name is Glennae. Looks like it's a little dark, so I'm going to try to adjust some lighting if you give me just a second. And then am I able to share screens here? This is my first time going live on YouTube, so just, bear with me. That's a little better. So my name is Glennae. My goal is to go live every Wednesday evening. I guess somewhere between, I said 7, but I got very excited about coming on here because I don't know what I'm doing and I have to try to figure it out. Okay. I would like to be able to get my presentations up here, but I don't know if that is going to work. Okay, well, I guess not. So, all right, so I hope everyone is doing well. I just want to take a few moments to introduce myself. My name is Glennae Davis. I am a registered nurse. I am the CEO and founder of RX for Life. Your Prescription for Life is a health equity consultancy and education agency. And it was established a couple of years ago. I actually been building and working towards it for many, many years. And tonight we are talking the business of health equity, workplace discrimination, and care of the African American woman. It is so important to talk about workplace discrimination and care of the African American woman because workplace discrimination is a form of chronic job stress that is unaddressed in traditional healthcare systems, right? So we use our employee benefits, our employer-sponsored benefits to go to health and wellness, to go to therapy, to go talk to the doctor, but no one addresses the needs of the African American woman who is going through a lot of job stress. What had happened to me back in 2012, I was working as a bedside nurse. I was injured doing work that I absolutely loved. I could have retired as a medical ICU nurse. I loved my work, but I was suffering from repetitive stress injury. From the repetitive stress injury, I entered the workers' compensation system. From the workers' compensation system, I entered systemic employment discrimination as well as institutional racism from the different entities and the different programs and different things that they sent me to. None of them could really give me what it is that I needed to be made whole. And so I realized that the options that my doctors were giving me and the constraints that my own doctors were facing because of the whole bureaucracy surrounding employees and our employment rights, nobody really wanted to get involved with. But that left me in this precarious situation where I either had to advance for myself, my rights, or I was going to fall victim to what we all know as America's public health crises, like thoughts of suicide, mental illness, suicide, domestic and workplace violence, opioid addiction. One of the doctors, I didn't want to take the opioid medicine. One of the doctors was like, well, you must not be in pain. But the thing about taking opioid medications is that they're addictive, right? So everything was this catch-22 in this cycle, and I wanted to be able to break the cycle. So I did this thing using the process of nursing and my employment rights, and I advocated for myself. And what I ended up in the end getting fired for disability, but the truth came through for me, and I avoided many, many pitfalls that other people fell into. And so that's why I created RX for Life, this health equity consultancy and education agency, so that I can help others and educate others about workplace health and employee engagement, our roles as employees when we are experiencing different things in the workplace that could just really affect us, because workplace discrimination is not just a personal thing. It absolutely ripples through the entire department and at home, and then at home, and the people are stressed at home because of somebody going through something, and then that spills over in the workplace or in the school environment. So I have been sitting down, and I'm also the author of 2 books, Yet Here I Stand and Bias and Burnout. And so what I was getting ready to say is that I have literally been sitting down with my head down, ironing out all of these issues that take place. And so when 2020 came through, this pivotal moment, this polarizing moment in our nation history that really exposed institutional racism for what it is, it allowed me to pivot my work from word of mouth clients that would seek me out and find me, who were actually in the throes of employment discrimination or some kind of conflict with their employer, to allow me to at least begin to set the groundwork to be able to teach people what to do. Because when we're prepared to deal with things that can actually absolutely change our life for the worse, we can make better decisions. So hope you ride with me to the end. This is going to be fun. I'm getting to allow you guys to know me, and for me to also know you, and to present this platform, this new healthcare brand for you all. So where are we? The business of health equity. So you can't see my presentation slides. Boo. I guess I can't do it on YouTube. But anyway, so I say here that our biggest strength is our ability to move in power. So by the time of this conversation ends, you have learned what the specifics in healthcare are, our measurable data, some achievable goals that I have set down to work towards, and what relevant health equity products and services are available for our employees who are experiencing chronic job stress and workplace discrimination, which is a form of chronic job stress, and the timeliness of these partnerships. So I don't know, how many times can I say that I'm excited? RX for Life, our mission, vision, and our purpose is, the mission is to better health results than seeing a doctor alone. Do you know that 75 to 95% of all doctor's office visits are for job-related stress? Whether you're going in there saying, oh, I'm stressed out about my job, or you just don't even have the language to know that, your stomach aches and your headaches and your pains in your joints and your muscles could actually be from dealing with some issue in the workplace, as well as, repetitive thoughts and inability to relax, tension, anxiety. A lot of those symptoms have its roots in the workplace because of some type of toxic environment or some type of trauma that can be internal or post-traumatic stress from the workplace that has not been resolved. And also discrimination, bullying, and harassment. And so I believe that we do need a community available for you where you can come and freely talk about what's happening and find solutions. So one of the visions, my vision for RX for Life, is to have an employee-centered human resource center for our nation's employees who are experiencing these issues, so that they can get a resolve. And the purpose is the prevention of stress-related diseases. I hear a lot of people talk about, burnout, and I just want you to know, for my company and the angle of where we're going, We define burnout as needing medications to go to work. We define burnout as diagnoses of mental illnesses and fibromyalgia and systemic diseases of adult women that is secondary to chronic stress. Okay. Addictions and poverty and homelessness. These are all stress related diseases, which unfortunately, these people, some of them become unemployable, but the common denominator is that they all potentially were once gainfully employed and saw their doctor about some job stress issue that they never got the appropriate or the right information that they needed to make a sound decision that will advance their health. So those are my mission, visions, and my purpose. So the specifics in healthcare are that employees are asking for help in dealing with chronic job stress. Whether or not you're going to your employment assistance programs or staff and faculty centers, or talking to your barber or your hairstylist, your girlfriend, your pastor, we're asking for help to deal with chronic job stress, and we're not really getting the information that we need, particularly because our workplace is our bloodline and our lifeline, and it's our image, it's our self-image, and no one wants to give you information to tell you how to push back or to resist those things that are happening to you in the workplace, because nobody wants you to get fired. Nobody wants you to go through unnecessary drama or traumas in the workplace. However, I'm here to help you mitigate those things and help you think through your responsibility and your role in building your confidence and becoming an empowered employee. So if there is a different solution for you, quitting and finding another position, or finding another position and quitting, that there are some virtues that you don't leave on the table, and then also that you are able to confidently confront your situation so that you are not left with the burden of carrying it with you into your next place of employment, because that is sometimes what happens, right? We don't resolve an issue and we end up taking it along with us. So workplace discrimination I describe as the not so silent killer. Unlike high blood pressure, unlike high blood pressure, I want you to know that workplace discrimination, again, is a form of chronic job stress that is unaddressed by the healthcare system. We won't get into why it's unaddressed, but stress is the number one cause of all disease, and the majority of the workers saw their doctors. I'm just going to leave it on the table and say that they just don't have the information. Okay, so I'm here to provide the information of how we can prevent disease, and it also be equitable for the employee, as well as stop financial leaks for the corporation or the organization who deals with workplace discrimination. Working with me can definitely be a win-win for our nation's employees, our nation's workforce, and our nation's corporations who, want to create revenue, which is not a bad thing. The bad thing is that your employees don't know how to effectively cope with capitalism. And capitalism is our country way. And it's okay. We cannot change the system, but RX for Life is here to provide a system that help employees to mitigate, to lessen the burden and the stress of what it is they're experiencing, and, deal appropriately and cope appropriately with what is happening in the workplace, so that they are advantaged and not disadvantaged. Yeah. So I kind of touched on this. So why are there no fair systems in place to help you through the big bad system? Well, you go and they have systems in place. You go, you file complaints of discrimination, you go talk to your HR, you go talk to your diversity, equity, and inclusiveness representative, you talk to your managers, but their role is to represent the interest of the organization that they work for. Your role is to represent, your health, your best interest. For me, I just thought about representing or representing Jesus Christ in the workplace because I thought all of them were liars. None of them were telling me the truth, even though they were smiling in my face and, they had this beautiful written letters that they were trying to help me or whatever the case may be. It was holes, like it were pitfalls, and I just was like, yo, that's not gonna work for me. And I'm very glad that I decided to reject and not negotiate my employment rights because I'm a human being and I'm just doing what a human does, and I need what I need, right? I don't need somebody else's prescription. I need what's mine, and we all have unique needs that cannot be grouped together and expect a unique outcome. So, again, this is why I say that I use, then you're also told that you have rights to sue by your employer, but you are never really made whole. One day when we get to know one another, I can, let you know of some stories of people who have sued and absolutely lost their marbles after suing, after signing over that check, like some physical things happened to them and they have never been the same. So there are spiritual implications for people going through workplace discrimination, and you cannot trade the truth and the morality of your situation for a paycheck. Not everyone. Some people, there are lessons learned and it's not really that big of a deal, but other people, it's a very big deal. And so you have to know where you are in this process. And so this is why I use the word of God at systems of discrimination and overcame the statistics to become this creative person who write books and created this amazing company and live in a safe and protected environment because I was obedient to listening to what I knew to be right. Okay. So we talked about the specifics, which were that Black women are asking for help, that employees are asking for help. We talked about how many people are seeing their doctors for stress-related issues, ailments. And you guys, you have to know that your doctors are also very stressed out for the very same reasons. And if they can't provide a solution for themselves, they really can't provide one for you either. So we really kind of got to get out that cycle, right? Then also the measurable part, where I told you that, did I tell you anything about the measurable? It's measurable. No, I didn't. Okay. So the measurable part is that racism is America's public health crisis. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission says that every year approximately 100,000 people file complaints of employment discrimination and that the majority of them are women. 100,000 people every year. When I was in the throes of employment discrimination, it took 4 years for my case to resolve. 4 years for them to fire me for disability, and that was the resolving of my case. And then I was going to try to find my paperwork that says that I was fired for disability, which is so beautiful. I'll show you another time. But over a 4-year period, that's 400,000 people. What do you think are happening to 400,000 people in 4 years? Not all of them are getting lawsuits, right? Not all of them are winning these landslide open and shut cases. A lot of us think that, we all know discrimination is illegal, but proving it is something else, right? and then our feelings are in it most of the time, and we really can't think logically. I would like for people to be able to honor their feelings about what it is that they're experiencing, but then also put it to side, because this is about business. You're hired to do a job, and part of your job is to know the policy, and part of your job is to pursue it as well. Like, that's the law, to be in good faith about pursuing your rights. So my point is that every year, 100,000 people are filing complaints of discrimination. The majority of them are African American women. That over a 4-year span of time, that's 400,000 souls. What do you think are happening to these people across the world? Well, across the United States. Poverty, drunkenness, unemployment, unemployable, addicted, regretful, suicidal, and there's just so much. And I mean, I'm saying this because I really did experience all of those things. Going through 4 years of employment discrimination was a living hell, that I was truly able to come through on this other side with my mind renewed and my faith restored, because it was hard, definitely hard. And I don't want any of you guys to have to go through that alone, when I've already been through it, overcome it, and I can provide you with the safety net that you need, okay? You can't see these pictures of what I look like. So when I was going through discrimination, terrible. But if I have the pleasure of meeting you on the other side of these presentations, I'm sure that, like on Zoom or something, I'll be able to show you these slides and really get a good engagement with you. So we did the SMART, we did the SM, and so here we are, achievable goals for healthcare and for Black women. My goal is for you to become confident, empowered employees, free from racism and stress-related disease, to live an abundant life. For me, like I said earlier in this conversation, that I've only ever wanted to be gainfully employed. I have never, ever thought about becoming an entrepreneur, but this phenomenon that happened to me in the workplace turned me into this. And I just want you to know that part of the process of me being fired for disability, and then I entered into this 2-year period of my life after that, where I was able to get rest and spend time in holiness with God, which was really amazing. I was fired, and I cashed out my 403B, and I literally went from making $150,000 a year to like a $30,000 cashed out pension, and I did not miss a mortgage payment for 2 years. And when it was time for me to go back to work, the job that I went to, which was an amazing fit for me, found me. So it's about just relaxing in the moment and trusting that what's yours is yours and it shall not pass you. But I was obedient with my time. I wrote this first book right here. I wrote it. Sometimes the Holy Spirit would wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning with juicy stuff to put down, and I would, sit down and get it written. And I never thought about writing no book before all of this happened. Like, I'm from the hood. I'm from an area called the Jungles in Los Angeles, and I didn't graduate high school. No. It's just the power of God, and I want to be able to help you guys not be so dependent on the workplace, to really be more dependent on trusting and making power moves, and knowing that whether you believe in God or not, that He is infallible. And as long as you're putting yourself first, and you're in good mind and in good heart and good intentions, then everything that you do is going to grow, okay? You can't fail at it. So how about RX for Life and me, Glennae Davis, the CEO of RX for Life, providing this amazing community with consultancy courses and literature. These are relevant health equity products and services for better employment health and better employee engagement. Because the way that the system is set up right now, it is not for your benefit. And we know that institutional racism is an issue. And you really can't dismantle institutional racism without a system. And this is the system so that you don't have to be affected by the end results of institutional racism because you're dealing with them without a lack of knowledge. Okay, and then the timeliness of partnerships. As a registered nurse, I know that many of you believe that registered nurses are just in the hospital. We follow doctor's orders, and that couldn't be further from the truth. That is what we do, and we do it with love. However, it is a very small portion of what the rights and responsibilities, the legal rights and the legal responsibilities of what a registered nurse does. So I do have the legal responsibility and the process to prevent disease and injury. And that's what I'm going to do for people who are experiencing workplace discrimination, because what I went through is happening all the time and it shouldn't be happening. And I don't know if I'm glad that it happened to me or sad that it happened to me, but when it happened to me, it was with the wrong person, because I was like, oh, I'm going to see this one to the end. I'm going to see it to the end. And I did. I saw it to the end. So I would love to partner together for Black Lives. I would love to partner together for my medical colleagues who are experiencing burnout. I would like to partner together for, providing workplace healthcare education so that your employees learn to become empowered and confident and to advance the company's mission. And to use the workplace for what it's for. Some of you are career professionals, and just because you're a career professional don't mean that you are a corporate slave. You have rights and you have responsibilities. And I think as soon as we learn how to address the things that we need to address in the workplace without our feelings and our traumas getting involved, we can have a more harmonious work-life balance, right? So I just really want to take some time to introduce myself tonight. I'm going to go back over here and see if anybody is live. If not, you can catch the replay. Please make sure you like and subscribe to Your RX for Life YouTube station, because I will be coming through here on a weekly basis for a little while to talk and introduce smart healthcare. This is the business of health equity, and we are discussing workplace discrimination and the care of the African American woman. We're providing community courses and consultancy programs for you so that you do not fall victim to America's public health crises, and so that you can just prepare yourself to live your life in abundance and health. And, seeing a health equity nurse, you can also get better health results than seeing a doctor alone. So, be good to yourself and get the information that you should have. This is your legal right to have this information. This is your legal right to have an advocate. This is your legal rights. And so I'm just bringing them to the forefront for you to be able to enjoy your benefits, right? I guess I can put some stuff in the, I don't know, but thanks. I'm figured out. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye.